One,
Two.
three, four, five.
Hi, I'm Bradley Hieronymus, and today I'm going to be talking about the origin of the English alphabet. The English alphabet is something that most Americans use every day. They learned it when they were kids, but they've never actually been taught about the origins or where it came from. I have taught myself about this topic because I also had never really thought about where the alphabet I use every day had come from. It is interesting to learn about the origins of the alphabet because it would be strange to think about a society without an alphabet at all. The modern English alphabet is a more simple system that puts symbols with sounds. The exact origins of language are unknown, but I am going to be talking about why the need for the English alphabet became important, who the first people were to use it, and what other language had influences on the English alphabet. Wanderopolis.org says that since the beginning of time, humans have had ways of communicating through symbols. Hieroglyphics were the earliest alphabets and have been discovered around 5,000 years old. As time went on, the need for a more precise writing system came along. Society advanced and there was a need to write long text. During the reign of the Romans, the English alphabet began to be used. The Romans brought the Latin language of their area into the area that was ran by the Germanic tribes that spoke Old English. The Germanic people used the alphabet that was known as the runic alphabet. As the Romans began to take control of many parts of Europe, the two languages influenced each other, and over many years of interactions, they made the English language. As the English language became one of the main languages of Europe, it became also one of the most important inventions of the time period. The Gentleman's Magazine says that the first place that the alphabet was used in Europe. Then the start of the Christianity in Rome leads to the spread of Christian writings to Israel. As Christianity spread, so did the use of the English alphabet. The Irish churches introduced the writings to the Northumbria, and these writings could then be found all around Europe. The English language eventually influenced the Italian language during the Renaissance time period as well. Many of these languages developed during this time period all influence each other. We know this because the Greek and the English alphabets are very similar. The French languages also began to be used due to the influences of the other language. We know this because the English Y is the same as the French U. The English language is very important during this time period because it allowed for a whole new section of the world to communicate. The worldorigins.org said that the three main contributing languages that led to the creation of the English language were Latin, Old English, and many Indo-European countries. The word alphabet actually comes from the two letters of the ancient Greek alphabet, alpha and bet. This is the alpha. This is the bet. The Latin influence came from the Romans, who used a more modern style of writing. The Latin language is no longer used in any part of the world today, but remnants of the language are still used today. English, Spanish, and French all build off of styles that were used in Latin by the ancient Romans so many years ago. The Germanic people were native to the area that is modern-day Europe, and the Germanic people spoke Old English. Old English was the main influence on the English alphabet. Some of the writing is similar, but a person who spoke Old English could not communicate with a person who speaks modern-day English. With the evolution of the languages in ancient Europe, there were many different languages influencing each other. Lots of the countries around the borders of Rome interacted through trade. Influences of their languages influenced the English language tremendously. The Greeks, Lithuanians, and the Hindi tribe all contributed to the English alphabet. When thinking about the English alphabet, it's important to know the origins of the language and all of the languages that influenced it. Sometimes something that you can use every day and has so much to do with how advanced modern society is interesting to learn about. Hopefully you have learned something about the way the English alphabet was used in ancient times. Without the English alphabet, I would have not been able to give this speech. The use of the English alphabet has been a huge part in most lives of the everyday Americans, and it is good to understand where it comes from.